Mic check 1 2 12. Welcome back, YouTube. This video is sponsored by you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every view, every thumbs up, every comment. If you choose to leave one, that's awesome. If you choose not to, that's awesome too. Don't mind, don't matter. So I want to expand on the last video, which was about mind chatter. So a quick recap of the last video if you didn't watch it. We were talking about starting a run, starting a workout, and that internal mind chatter going off and telling you, you can't do this. You're too tired. You didn't get good enough night's sleep. You don't have the proper nutrition. You're not hydrated. The $150 shoes that you bought feel funny. Your shoulder's giving you trouble while you're running. Every ridiculous thing in the book to try and tell you to stop. And we talked about how to mitigate that. Mind chatter is different than the inner voice. And that's what this video is about. The inner voice is something that occurs typically when you're not facing physical adversity. So I'm breaking this up into two separate things. The previous video was on doing a workout and doing something physically strenuous and what happens in your brain when you start to do that. And it's telling you this is uncomfortable. That's mind chatter. Inner voice is the things that happen, is the thing that happens when you're just bebopping around doing your daily routine and your mind starts telling you negative things. So let's discuss. Check my handy dandy notes. So thinking versus worrying. We're outside of the gym now. We're outside of running. We're outside of physical activity. This is not a working out video. This is a mental health video. Thinking versus worrying. A lot of us get caught in the trap, including myself, because I say in every video, when I say you, I mean me. You start thinking about something. You start thinking about an issue or a problem or the future. And you think that your thinking is a good thing and that it's leading you to solutions, a path forward, goal setting. However, what typically happens is as you start thinking, even if you are setting the intention of thinking about something in order to reach a resolution, you start to worry. Because when you start to think, you start to ponder and assess the chain of events that occurred to get you to the position that you're in. And that chain of events that got you to think about something that is leading to worry usually does not consist of good memories, happy events. So as you start to think, you start to worry. And this is where you have to break this up in your mind. And you have to be thoughtful about this and be a critical thinker. And set an intention when you start to think about a problem. Where are you going with this? Are you going to a place where you are going to set a routine? You are going to change something? You are going to implement something new in your life to help lead to success in your future goals? Or is the real reason that you're thinking about something is so you can dive deep, deep into your past, whether it be 5 years ago, a year ago, it could just be yesterday, a problem that's manifesting today that was caused by events yesterday. And the real reason that you're thinking is because you want to analyze why you're worrying. So you need to understand that thinking, goal setting, and worrying are all different things. And if you do not take the proactive step to tell yourself before you start to think about a problem set, and when I say problem, problems aren't always negative. A problem in the negative could be, I'm facing these issues at work. I'm facing these issues at home. I'm facing these issues with my mental health. I'm facing these issues in my past. That is a problem set. But a positive problem set could be, like me, I love to get outdoors and I like to hike and climb. The problem set could be, where are we going? How big is the mountain? How much water do I need? How much food do I need? How long is this going to take? Do I need electrolytes? Do I need to hike with other people because there's a safety factor involved and this isn't something that I should do by myself? Do I need to text somebody or tell my wife where I'm going in case I don't come back at a certain time that people can start to look for me? Things like that, right? That is thinking in a problem-solving matter that is positive, because you are trying to lead yourself to a positive outcome and a safe experience. However, I think what a lot of us do, including myself, is I'll start to think about things, and what I really want to do is I want to get back and dive into the murky past. And I want to start thinking about the chain of events that occurred prior to today that are causing the issues that I have now. And all that's going to lead to is wallowing in your own self-pity. Now, we can look at our past events and we can analyze them critically, and we can make changes when those same events occur in the future, and that leads to a positive outcome. However, once again, I think when people talk about their inner voice, which is trying to guide you to what you should do, leads to chatter, which is the point of the video. And the point that I'm trying to make is that mind chatter and your inner voice are two different things, and they must be dealt with differently. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. So, goal setting versus living in the past. When you think about a problem, right when you start to think about it, ask yourself, am I thinking about this problem so I can go back in the past and relive that trauma? Or am I thinking about this because I want a goal set in the future and mitigate the things that occurred in the past that caused me to get to the point that I am now? And I 100% recommend that when you start to think about problems, you attack them vigorously with a goal setting mindset. There is no reason to go back in the past. We all do it, and it's going to continue to happen, and that's fine. I'm not telling you not to think about the past, because the past holds good and bad memories. But for the bad memories and the bad outcomes that led to where you are now that you're thinking about, the only way to rewire your brain through neuroplasticity is to think about those in a lesson learning fashion. Thinking, if this event happens again, this is what I did in the past, and this is what I'm going to do in the future. And that is why I'm going to handle that situation better. And let's talk about this for a second too. When you're thinking and worrying and ruminating on the past, you're thinking about an old version of yourself. A version of yourself yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is definitely not the same person that you are today. And one of the reasons that we think, which leads to worry, and we start to storytell, is because we want to collect all the data from the past in order to create a narrative that creates the identity of who we are today, because we all want an identity. If you are always thinking and worrying and pondering about the mistakes that you made or the things that you haven't done to create the narrative of who you are today, there's no way that that's going to lead to a positive outcome. That's only going to lead you to criticize yourself and think about the past situations that you could have handled differently. And then you're going to wonder in the future if you're going to be able to handle them in a different way. So you're creating a narrative in your head of who you are today based on your past self, which is not who you are today. And who you are today, and this is the real meat, who you are today is not who you're going to be a month from now, or 6 months from now, or a year from now. And I can prove it to you. Those problems that you're thinking about today that happened a year ago, or 5 years ago, or in your childhood, where a lot of problems start to manifest and build who you are today. Are you who you were then? Absolutely not. You're a completely different person. So now when you're thinking about problems and you're thinking, I'm going to be like this forever because I'm just stuck in this cycle of thinking about my past, which has led me to who I am today, which means I'm not going to be able to create a new version of myself. It's absolutely rubbish, garbage, and untrue. So that is the great news for you and me, is that when you're worrying about these problems and you think that you're stuck and you're going to be here forever, it's impossible. You're not going to be here forever. You are going to make some kind of change. You just have to think about how quick do you want that change to take place? And how are those changes going to take place? And where will those changes lead you? And what do you look like in 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now? And the only way to know that is to make a timeline. Set goals, write it down, talk about it. Talk about your past mistakes, talk about where you are now, and talk about where you want to be. To your spouse, your partner, your friends, whomever. If you have to stand in front of the mirror and say it, great, do that. But talk about it. Because if you don't create a future vision of yourself, how are you going to get there? You can't get there because there is no there, because you haven't said it yet. So here is the solution, because I'm trying to provide solutions in every video. Excuse me. Take stock of everything you have right now. Everything you like, everything you don't like. Get rid of everything you don't like. Look at where you want to be in the future. And everything that doesn't align with that future goal, get rid of it. Get rid of it. You've heard about those public speaking events that they do, or they do it in rehab sessions. They do it in self-help, growth sessions, leadership sessions, where you write stuff on a piece of paper. And this is a little bit extreme. I've never done this, but I can see why it works, because the body-brain connection is massive. They'll have people write down all the baggage that they're carrying, write it down on a piece of paper, and then they build a big fire. They rip that piece of paper off. They talk about it first. They identify it. They take it in. They realize that it's real. It's not a manifestation in their brain. And they talk about it, and then they throw it in the fire, and they watch it burn up. And once they watch it burn up, it's gone. Is it really gone? No. But the physical act of going through that process of writing it down, getting it out of your brain to paper, identifying what it is and speaking it out loud, which a lot of people have never done before, and then throwing it in the fire is a process of getting rid of old baggage and getting rid of your old self. Now, conversely, when you do that, you have to do the same on the opposite end. You have to write down your goals, and you have to write down everything that is stopping you from those goals. and you have to get rid of them. And in that process, in order to reach those goals and to get rid of the things that you don't want in your life, you have to create a routine. That's the easiest way for people like you and me who have both things going on, mind chatter and inner voice, all the time talking to you. Start a routine in order to get rid of the chatter. And that routine looks something like this. And I could go minute by minute of my day and tell you what I do, but it'd take way too long. So let me tell you a couple easy things you can do. When you go to bed at night, before you go to bed, and a lot of people don't do this, it's something very simple. Set out your clothes that you are going to wear in the morning. They don't have to be your work clothes, because I get up in sweats because I got to walk the dog. I got to get like a little workout in. I got to make breakfast for the kids, and I got to take them to school. And I usually don't wear the same sweats when I take them to school because I want to look presentable. But when I wake up in the morning, instead of scrambling and all of a sudden my mind chatter going on of, oh my God, I got to make this kid's lunch. What activities do they have after school? What am I going to wear? Do I have anything on my calendar today? What's my spouse doing today? Is anybody coming over to the house to do any repairs? Do I got to take any calls? What kind of bills do I have to pay? All that stuff. Get rid of small stuff. The clothes. Just set out your clothes. So right when you wake up, boom, you're done. Go downstairs. Instead of like, what am I going to eat for breakfast? Before you set out your clothes the night before, take everything that you're going to make for breakfast and set it right in the front of the fridge. So for me, for instance, I know that I'm having scrambled egg whites. I know that I'm having turkey sausage, and I know that I'm having a yogurt with some granola, and I'm having a protein shake. I put all that stuff right in the front of the fridge. And I'm a coffee drinker. So instead of grinding coffee and making coffee and going through that whole process and cleaning out the grinds from the night before, I put the timer on the coffee machine. So now already when I woke up, just by using those simple things, the alarm goes off, I hop out of bed, put the clothes on that I already have out, walk downstairs, take the dog out, come in, get my breakfast out, coffee's already made, eat my breakfast, and I am like way ahead of the game before my kids even wake up. And those are things that I can look on that even if my day doesn't turn out, the rest of the day doesn't turn out the way that I thought it would, those controls that I put into place and those routines, they get rid of that mind chatter. And then when the inner voice comes in, which usually happens in between all that stuff that I'm doing, the inner voice has to be completely shut down by positive self-talk. Every time that inner voice comes at you and says, hey, let's think about the past. Hey, let's think about why we're not as fit as we should be. Let's think about why we're not at where we need to be in our job. We need to get a promotion. We need to make more money. We got this vacation coming up. How are we going to pay for that? Blah, blah, blah. All these things. That inner voice is silenced by routine. So if you don't take anything else away from this video, set a routine. And remember, mind chatter is different than your inner voice. Mind chatter usually occurs in this, and I'm not a psychologist, but my mind chatter usually occurs when I'm trying to do something difficult in the physical realm, in the hobby realm. And the inner voice comes out, the deeper inner voice comes out when I'm evaluating where my current life is. And if you evaluate where your current life is based on the past, 99.9% of the time, you're going to end up not thinking, you're going to end up worrying. So when the inner voice starts to talk to you, you talk back to the inner voice of, this is what I'm doing today to get to my goals that I set. And if you keep doing that over and over and over again, the inner voice, the demon, stops talking negative and starts talking positive and reinforcing your goals and reinforcing your fitness and reinforcing your nutrition and reinforcing your relationships. And it will tell you when you're not doing the things to align with your goal. And that's an amazing thing. I hope you like the video. Leave a comment, give a thumbs up. I'll see you next time. Crush the gym.